There is a new way to make money online with Claude AI, which now has the ability to not only find high-ticket products just like this, but also tell us how much profit that we can earn every time somebody makes a purchase, and it even imports that product into our own online store so that we can place it directly in front of an audience of thousands who are specifically interested in purchasing that exact type of product. So we're going to be using a few free tools for this method, the first of which is of course Claude, which is where we're going to be searching for and identifying highly profitable products, which we can then import onto our own online store just like this. This is where your customers are going to be able to purchase that product when we start driving sales to it. And to very quickly build that online store completely for free, the second tool that we're going to be using is Build Your Store. I'll leave a link to both Claude and Build Your Store in the video description. I'll first click onto where it says Build My Free Store right here so that you can get signed up, and you first want to start by selecting your store niche. For the sake of this video, I'm going to click onto where it says electronic and gadgets, and you then want to select two simple banners for your online store. Once you've done that, you'll then end up with a store just like this, preloaded with a ton of different winning products that people are actively purchasing. Now, in order for people to actually purchase those products so we can start driving sales to them, you just want to click onto where it says Claim My Store to seamlessly connect your store with Shopify, which again, you can try out completely for free by clicking onto my link in the video description for Build Your Store. Once Shopify is connected to your online store, that will ensure whenever any of those online shoppers purchase any one of those winning products on your store, Shopify will completely handle those purchase transactions with its built-in payment gateway. And whenever any one of those purchases happen, we don't need to lift a finger. Those products are sent out to the customer on our behalf, at which point we pocket the profit. And that's because those products are sent out to the customer by the different suppliers that we can source using a tool called AutoDS. Now here you can see on the screen there are thousands of these different products and suppliers that we can get access to. Now, rather than manually scrolling through all of these different products, deciding which of them are most likely to sell and manually importing them into our store, that is where Claude comes in, which is going to help us to drive sales to those products that it's going to select for us. Now, before we head straight over to Claude, the last thing that you want to do is to make sure that you get access to all of these different products via AutoDS. So I'll simply click onto where it says Customize My Store right here. I'll then click onto where it says Register to AutoDS. I'll select Shopify as my selling channel, and our store will now be ready. And there is a way to start driving sales to any one of these electronic and gadget items right here, such as this mini portable projector. If I wanted to start driving sales to this item, what I could do is very easily identify an audience, for example, that shows a high propensity or likelihood to want to make an online purchase relative to the product category that our item fits in, which is, in our example, electronic and gadgets. Now, I'm going to show you exactly how to identify and drive traffic from these high purchase intent audiences in the next step. But first, I want to show you how we can absolutely maximize the amount of profit that we can make per sale by using Claude. First, what I've done is identified another audience who are far more likely to purchase high ticket items, earning us more profit for every single sale that we can make. For example, this particular audience, given the description, are affluent households with over $1 million in net worth that have demonstrated an interest in video gaming, which comes under electronic and gadgets. Now, this is where Claude comes in. I'm going to go back over to Claude and give it a prompt to identify items that this audience is most likely to be interested in purchasing, where we'll earn at least $100 in profit per sale. Now, referencing this audience, what I will simply do is go back over to that audience that I just identified and screenshot it, upload it over to Claude in our prompt. Claude will then search AutoDS and select their top 3 picks that affluent households with over $1 million in net worth in the market for gaming equipment are most likely to purchase, where we'll earn a profit of over $100 for every single purchase made. It's given us those 3 items, which appear to be arcade machines, and it's listed out the profit that we'll make anything from over $235 in profit all the way down to $140. And it's then asked me if I'd like it to import those products into my store. I'll simply say yes, hit enter. So now if I go back over to my store, if I right click, hit refresh, we should see that those high ticket, highly profitable items, which we know has a huge number of high purchase intent traffic who would likely be interested in them, are now listed on our store. Now, to very easily set up that Claude integration so you can start doing exactly the same is go back over to Claude, and you want to click onto this icon right here where it says customize, and you then want to click onto where it says connectors, connected, add a custom connector. Give it a name. I'll say Auto DS, no spaces, and I'll simply type in this URL right here. I'll leave a link to that in the video description. I'll then simply click onto where it says add. And if you click onto where it says connect for Auto DS, you can then sign in with the registration details that you already have. And here is how we can start driving high purchase intent traffic to our online store, to products just like this, which are highly profitable with highly enticing campaign material just like this, which we can place directly in front of an audience of thousands who we know are specifically interested in these exact type of products. The first thing you want to do is get signed up to the Realize platform, which I'll leave a link to in the video description. If you click onto where it says start campaign right here, you can simply enter in a few simple details to create your free Realize account to get traffic that converts once you've signed up to Realize. If you click onto where it says new and then new campaign, you can then fill out a few simple details such as your campaign name. I've called it electronic and gadgets, a brand name, I've called it home gadget strategies, and crucially, where it says what is your campaign objective, I'm going to select online purchases right here. We want to get people to buy our products. Now, if I scroll down, you can leave the campaign schedule set as default. We want it to run 24/7. We want it to be active as soon as it is approved. Now, here is where we can select those high purchase intent audiences that we can start driving that traffic to our online store from. So underneath where it says campaign targeting, the first thing I'll do is I'll select the device type that our audience will see our campaign on. Now, for the sake of this video, and what I recommend that you do is to separate your campaigns by device type. This helps with tracking. So for this example, I'm going to select desktop right here. Going to scroll down even further. Going to leave all of this set as default, but underneath where it says target users by first party data, if I click onto this search bar right here, what I can do is type in any keyword related to the products that we want to start driving sales for. Now, we know this specific product falls under the category of gaming, or even more broadly, the category of electronics and gadgets, but the more specific that your target audience is, the higher your conversion rate can be, which is why if I head back over to Realize, what I can do is in this search bar, start off by typing in a keyword related to the category for the item that you want to start driving sales to, and be as specific as you can. So I'll start off by typing in gaming, and we'll see a ton of these different audiences. For example, the first audience that we can see has an audience size of over 360,000. If I hover over the audience description right here, we can see this is an audience consisting of users who are interested in online gaming. But does that mean they're actually willing to purchase a high-ticket arcade machine? Well, potentially, we know they're interested in gaming, but let's see if we can find an even more refined target audience. So if I scroll down underneath categories just like this, persona and shopping behavior. For example, this category right here, as you can see, it says these are households that have demonstrated an interest in gaming, but we can see for some reason these are listed as non-affluent households where they have a net worth of under $1 million. So high ticket items, some of them might, but less likely, right? What I want to do is find a high net worth household or individual who is interested in gaming, such as this one right here, which is what I showed you earlier, as we can see. Affluent households, defined as having over $1 million in net worth, that have demonstrated an interest in video gaming. If I click onto it, we can then select that audience. Now, you want to refine your audience as much as you possibly can. Although it is a huge audience size of over 2 million, what I'm going to do, we know this specific type of video game. It's sort of on the retro side, if anybody remembers Pac-Man. It's around 20 or up to 40 years old, if I'm recalling rightly. So what I might do is go back over to Claude and simply ask it, what age group is most likely to purchase these items? Hit send. And for the Pac-Man arcade machine specifically, it mentions that Pac-Man's golden era was in the early 1980s, and people who purchase arcade machines just like this aren't doing so for the elite style of graphics or anything like that. They're buying the nostalgia of their actual childhood and adolescence. So what I'm going to do is go back over to Realize, and to refine our audience even further, I'll click onto where it says "and" over here, and in this search bar, I can then type in the keyword demographic to filter down even further by the age groups. So I'm going to select anywhere between sort of 35 to 45 to 59, and we'll go 60 plus as well. And I'm going to see if I can refine this audience even further. We know that people who purchase arcade machines just like this for their home specifically probably need enough space for something like this, or to at least have an interest in large home products and appliances. So I'll go back over to Realize. I've also been able to identify this audience right here. Affluent consumers who buy decorating products, furniture, or accessories for the home as documented by actual purchasing activity. Alright, this is perfect. Now, you do need to make sure that you've selected both a platform, which we've already done, desktop, and a country to get your audience size estimation. So if I scroll back up, you'll see that all countries are selected by default. So if I filter down even further by selecting the country with the largest amount of tier 1 buyer traffic, which is the US, we should be able to get an estimate right here of between 7 million and 15 million impressions. Now, the amount of impressions you can think of as the amount of views that your campaign can potentially get. Now, of course, you can have more than one view per person. So once you've set all of that, I'm going to click onto where it says next right here. So before I show you how we can launch our campaign ad to start driving sales to this specific product right here, for example, I first want to explain what EPC and CPC means for those of you who may not already know. So here is one of my personal campaign dashboards for a campaign that I've been running where I've earned a total profit of over $20,000. And you'll see this stat right here, EPC, which stands for earnings per click. And you can see that roughly my earnings per click is around $2.72. Now that earnings per click means of the 7,481 clicks that I've managed to get for that campaign, I'm earning on average $2.72. Now, of course, not everybody who clicks onto the product that I'm promoting makes a purchase. In this specific example, only around 5.75% of those 7,481 clicks actually result in a purchase, or a total of 430 conversions. So if I do 20,406 and 21 cents divided by the amount of clicks, which is 7,481, that means on average I'm earning around $2.72. That is my earnings per click, which brings us on to the next step in launching our ad, which is setting your budget. Now, to absolutely maximize your earnings per click, you want to make sure that you select Maximize Conversions CPA to get the most conversions under a given budget at your target cost. And what I love about the Realize platform specifically is you can set your budget, your daily budget. You can start small, let's say $50. Bear in mind, guys, my currency is showing as AUD. I'm based in Australia. It will show your local currency, and you can start small to test it out, and you don't pay a single cent until anybody clicks onto your ad. And by selecting Maximize Conversions CPA, that will ensure that your campaign is optimized to do its absolute best to keep your CPC, which is your cost per click, you're only charged from your budget after a click has occurred, lower than your EPC, which is your earning per click. And as long as your EPC is higher than your CPC, that means you're earning a profit on average for every single click that you get. But I do recommend starting out with a small budget, testing out different products, different campaign ad material to see first of all what's working, and then when you identify those winning products, those winning campaign ads, that's when you can double down to start incrementally increasing that budget to start scaling. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to set it at $50 for example. I'll then click onto where it says create and add ads. And underneath where it says media, what I can do if I click onto where it says generate with AI is click onto where it says text to image. There are a few options, but I'll click onto this one and I'll simply type something in like image of an affluent looking individual aged between 45 and 65 playing Pac-Man on an arcade machine at home. I'll then click onto where it says generate images, and it's given us a few of these images which are absolutely incredible. They are exactly what we prompted it for. And so here is one, as you can see, a preview. I'll click onto another one right here. These are absolutely perfect. And what you can now do that we have the ad creative, what you want to do is go back over to the product that you want to drive sales to, the product page. Make sure that you copy over the URL for that product page, and underneath where it says landing page URL, simply paste that in, scroll down, and then click onto where it says help me write to create our ad content using AI. And what you'll see is it will analyze that landing page URL to start crafting that content. It'll then pre-fill these fields asking sort of what services do you offer, what is your target audience, home entertainment enthusiasts, nostalgia driven adults, asking you your unique selling point and target audience language. Once you're happy with all of those, with one click, you can simply go to where it says generate with AI. And it's given us these 3 different headline suggestions. One of them is, it feels like the arcade I grew up in. A bit of nostalgia right there. I'm going to select it. And the third one right here, I really like too, where it says city capitalized. This represents a geographically dynamic value. In this case, the city where your potential customer is located. So if they're in New York, for example, they'll see New York home brings back the arcade. Absolutely love that. I'll simply select that as well to test out both of those different headlines too. I can then select one of the AI generated descriptions. I really like this one. Nostalgic yet simple to use. This home arcade cabinet packs 14 retro titles and top customer ratings into. Alright, this is perfect. I'll simply select it, and crucially, for the call to action button, which is what they're going to be clicking onto, if I click onto this drop down, you'll see things like install now, shop now. I'll type in the word, if they have like play now, that will be good. Play game, that is even better. Here we can see the previews on the right hand side for all of the different ads that we can start testing. This is absolutely perfect. And to get a preview as to how your customers would sort of see your ads, what I can do is click onto where it says advanced preview right here. So here's a preview of how our ad will look on Yahoo, for example. There it is. It feels like the arcade I grew up in. You can toggle through those different variations, or you can even click onto different publishers. Look, let's go with CBS News, for example, and searching for our ad. There it is. This one is even bigger and better. Super enticing ad creative, going with that nostalgia angle with that title. It feels like the arcade that I grew up in, and we were able to literally set all of this up in only a few minutes by first of all using Build Your Store. Again, I've got a link in the video description to Build Your Store, where you can not only build that store completely for free, but also get access to a free Shopify trial and an auto DS trial as well, giving you access to thousands of those different products that you can start driving those online sales for literally only $1. And if you got value from this video, please make sure that you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so you get notified every single time that I release a new online money making video. See you in the next one.